Yeah. Going live. There we go. Going live like Philip Schofield and Gordon the Gopher. Let me see if that chat works. Hell. Oh. Had some technical problems. I did set up a link, but don't think that link's too good. I think it's because it's on a different device, you know. Can't actually use it. But some people arriving now. Yes, Kevs. Yes, Matt Drinkwater. How's it going? Mac Dog, I see you. Getting a few people now. I think I've had a bit of trouble. I set a link up, but the link that I set up, because it's on a different device, I think it's not letting me go through. So I've had to come onto the Death Star, to the laptop, work it from there. Got a few people in now. I know there's a couple more, but I'll get going in a minute. Yeah, working. There's 7 people. Crazy. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for coming in to speak to me. I was just saying if you just joined in, I had a couple of technical issues there, but getting mine out as best I can. So I've had to come on the laptop. It's a different link. Apologies for that. But I think we're getting there now. Yeah, cool. Only thing about this is it looks a bit like a bit of a hostage video. They're treating me well. They're giving me food and water 3 times a day. Don't worry about me. Hopefully I'll be home soon. How's everyone doing out there? Dawn? Yes, Jackie. Nice to see you in there. Yeah, well, I'll just start chatting, and I know a lot of people was asking if I'm going to put it up afterwards, and I'll definitely do that. So if anyone wants to come back and check it, couldn't make it, hopefully it'll be there if I can get that part of the technology right. I'll start by saying I'm not a technophobe in any way. I embrace technology at all times, but I don't know what happened to that link. That's not like me. I'm not one of these people that sits there saying, oh, I can't use technology. I'm deem myself a good 6 out of 10 on technology, but I don't know what happened to that little link. But yeah, man, I was just going to come on here, say a few things, and it's crazy to me that people even wanted to see this live stream, because a couple of weeks ago I wouldn't have thought it would be even possible that people would want to see this. You know, we're not, again, I'm not trying to say I'm a technophobe and nothing, but I wasn't that active on Facebook at all, really. Do most of the stuff with the band, it's all through like Instagram. But then thanks to obviously the Skinner Brothers shows that we did, a lot of people have jumped on and said, not only have they jumped on Facebook, but like set up a private group on Facebook. And I was like, as of last night, there was 60 people in there. I mean, I know that normally prompts someone to leave, probably on 59 or 58 now. But I couldn't have imagined 2 weeks ago that 60 people would be in a private group and wanting me to come on and do a live and speak to people on a Sunday. So thank you all for your support. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I've got some questions in. I will answer questions in the chat as well. Keep my eye on that. But I suppose the first thank you I'd have to say would be to the Skinner Brothers, really. Sincerely, thank you to Zach. Thank you to Clara for asking us to come down to do the shows in Southampton and Scala. Again, couldn't believe that we'd be touching a stage like that. Been at music for a long time. I know a lot of you have seen the story, and you've seen sort of the podcasts and whatnot that I've been on. And Lee and I have been, writing music together for a long time, 25 years. We only started gigging Handsome Rat like 3 years ago, like May 2023. So, and first gig, there was like, it was a good gig actually, because we supported a band called the Dennerbys, who are quite a band on the rise themselves, far bigger than Handsome Rat. But they were sort of just starting out really as well, I think, and there wasn't many people in that gig. So to go from there in May 23 to the Scala in May 26, yeah, what more can you say? Absolutely fantastic, and I'll forever be grateful to the Skinner Brothers for asking us to do that. And what a show it was, man. I know some of you that are in the chat were there. Southampton was absolutely unreal. I've always wanted to do Southampton because it's a legendary venue to join. As I said before, you see it on gig posters and whatnot, and to get down there and do it was crazy. But it was hot. It was hot. I mean, this mask, it ain't too bad to do the business in. It's not like Zach with the Skinner Brothers. He's got a bit of a hard mask to wear and to perform in. I think this is pretty easy, but the actual Southampton show was insanely hot. It must have been like 600 degrees at fucking roof level. You know what I mean? There was a rumor going on that people were collapsing and all sorts, which I didn't see myself, to be honest. But yeah, it was an insane show, and was just so happy with it afterwards. And got back to the hotel, had a good drink, had a good laugh. And then we had a little day off when we got around London. And then on the Thursday was obviously the Scala show, which was, it's stuff of dreams, really. We were in there. I mean, there was quite a lot of people in there when we started. Some people said like they couldn't get in to the Scala, by the time we were on stage, just getting through the security and whatnot. But that's, part and parcel of being in the opening band. They've got no complaints about that. But by the time we finished, there was loads of people, more people than we'd normally play to. So again, just a brilliant experience, really, and being in and around, obviously, the Skinner Brothers on their ascendancy. It's crazy to watch and to see them, they're taking over, and it's great to see. And the Cheap Thrills as well. Cheap Thrills were good guys. Had a couple of chats to them. They were really nice guys too. And they themselves a massive band. When you look at their statistics and their following, there's really good to be in and around. Two bands like that have been doing the business and getting really big for little old Handsome Rat. So I'm just going to keep my eye on the chat there as well. Dawn, I only caught the last two songs at Scala. I was stuck in the queue. Yeah, that's like, can I say? Jackie, Jackie, you weren't there, were you? But you did come to the Snug, and they took some pictures. And we had a good chat, didn't we, Jackie? So thank you for that. What's that? The heat was insane. Yeah, it definitely was. Bribing security at Scala to get in. Missed the first. Oh, yeah. Mark Drinkwater. Yeah, I heard about that. Obviously, a couple of our friends, Mark being one of them, had come down from Manchester to see us, and obviously realising they probably weren't getting in, had to slip the security some extra dollar to get right in there. But it worked, isn't it? So don't be claiming that back off me. That's not an expense, by the way. You can shove it up your ass if you think I'm going to pay you back. But thank you for coming from the bottom of my heart. The support as always. Jackie is still editing those photos. Jackie, the photographs that you sent were great. And they're on if anyone's not seen it, they're on, I put a link on Instagram. I'll put it up as a post as well. But they went up on Northern Exposure, which is a Northern, as in the title, webzine. And that was a really good review. The guy that came along, Miles, really, really cracking guy, lovely guy, journalist. He's wrote a fantastic review for us. It's on the Instagram as well. If you look under the words highlight, should find it there, because I put a link to it there as well, the story to follow through. But yeah, I will take some questions if anyone's got them. I said before, we've got a private group now, the Rat's Nest, and it's like, I can't believe there's 60 people in there. I know I said this before, but just to reiterate, there was like 30 people following us on Facebook. Now I think there's like over 100, and 60 of them are in this private group. I did put out on there to put some questions in, and I'll answer them, and I will do that. He did a great review, and I agree. He's lovely, and it was very nice to meet him. Yeah, Miles, man, sick guy, really, really nice guy. So I can't even believe there's 9 people in there. I thought I'd come on here, I thought it'd be no one. I'd just be posting it up, and someone might watch it afterwards. I even told my brother about this. I was doing this, and he said, I can't give a shit. The Formula One's on, and who even cares about the Formula One? But that's just the part and parcel of being a small band. You get your friends, you get your family. At some point, they get sick of it, and then where we're getting now is we are starting to pick people up, who are fans. And when I say a fan, I mean someone that wasn't your friend or your family to start with. And every time we do a show now, there's more people getting in contact. So I guess we're doing something right in that respect. We've only done, about, I think it's 18 or 19 shows. It's not many at all because, I say, we've not really got a massive active audience. To do a gig these days, if anyone's been an independent artist or an independent creative, it's really hard because the cost to it is phenomenal. And if you get just even a rehearsal, if you don't have your own space, a rehearsal can cost £50. If you want to go to a pre-production room, this isn't a sob story, by the way, just letting you know the realities. If you go to a pre-production stage just to make sure everything's going to be all right for something, for a gig like Scala, you can be paying £80 for that. So you're down on your money before you start, and obviously the fuel and the expense and the hotels, etc., can add up as well. Don't get me wrong, that's not a major complaint because it's for us at our level, it's a hobby. You know what I mean? It's just like you guys put your money into your hobby, so it's what we do and it's what we get our enjoyment from. But you can see how if you're a younger band in particular, I mean, it's no secret about my age. I'm 25, as I keep saying. Now I'm 45, but if you're a young, especially working class person, you can see how they're getting priced out of being creative. It adds up. So yeah, we've only done 20 odd gigs, and if you're interested in that sort of level of detail, then it's all on handsomerat.com, and you'll see there's a section called Who Dat Rat, and it explains who everyone is in the fabled rotating cast, who they are and how many appearances they've done and which gigs they played at, and from that you can see the gigography. And that's there because I'm a geek. I'm a music geek, and I love to roam those appendices. And if you go on there, you'll basically see the bands that we played with at every gig. It's up to date now as well for those ones down south. So yeah, check that out as well. But yeah, it can add up. So that's hence why another reason it is hard to do quite a lot of gigs, and that's why we've done so few in that 3 years that we've been active live. And you do get obviously the haphazards on the road. I was going to say, I'm saying it like I've got an open classroom in front of me. Did anyone see the story about the nightmare we had in Southampton in the Airbnb? Because that was insane. So basically, if you didn't know about that story, we get down to Southampton. We're so giddy because we're playing the Joiners that night. We travelled down, taking hours. Lee did all the driving. He basically he went from his house in Stretford in Manchester. He picked up Ado and our friend Georgia, who was doing the merch for us, Ado's girlfriend. And then he went across to Birkenhead to get Fryo, and then down to where I live at the moment, which is just in Cheshire, mid-Cheshire. So they picked us up and went all there. So there was a long day of driving is what I'm saying. And then by the time we got down there, we were ready to check into this Airbnb. We were ready to flop down, have a shower, get ready before we had to go to the sound check. And I kid you not, it was in a bit of a dodgy area. And that don't bother me, because I grew up in a dodgy area, as a lot of you will have done as well. So I didn't really phased by that. Lee, however, was on high alert. He is phased by, even though he's from a dodgy area, he was phased by that. And straight away, he was on high alert, and I could see straight away when he pulled the van up, he was scanning the area. Something wasn't right. And I thought, it's all right. He'll calm down in a minute. I'll get him up there. I went up there to scope it out first. And basically, this thing's on the second floor of a housing association block of flats, basically. I went up there. I opened the door. And straight away, I seen a guy's pair of flip-flops. And I thought, maybe it's the guy that owns the Airbnb. Took a few more steps in. There was a bag. Thought, this don't seem right. But again, probably the guy that owns the Airbnb is probably just leave stuff here. That's not unusual or untoward in any way. Makes my way into the flat, and I can already see something moving in the living room. Oh shit! What's this? It's a guy face down, sleeping on the settee. I was like, what? Now, me being a bit, I can be a bit jittery and a bit of a worrier. I'm like, oh, it's the previous guest. I got to get out of here because the previous guest hasn't checked out yet. So I started moving backwards, shut the door. I was stood outside the door thinking, I'll go to the van and tell Lee, I'll get the band up here. Looks like the previous guest not checked. I sort of came to my senses and I thought, what the fuck are you doing? Previous guest should have checked out hours ago. So steamed back in there, went in and said, "You're right, mate." This guy jumps off the settee. He goes, "I'm the cleaner. I'm the cleaner, and I've just finished. I thought, yeah, you just finished. So you don't look like you were swinging the mop too much, mate. The old mop swingers union. So he gets his stuff together. He tries to make a bit of a, sorry, do you need anything? And I was like, oh, mate, look, where do we park the vehicle? Blah, 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 blah. I thought, all right, guys on the minimum wage, probably, you know what I mean? He's subcontracted him, whatever it is. He's probably been working hard, probably been working since the crack of dawn. I'm not going to make a big deal out of that. Get the band up to the flat, everyone starts bomb bursting out and having a look round. Straight away, it's like there's a massive flood in the bathroom, like it's coming from the extraction fan. I don't mean like drip, drip, drip. I mean like bam, 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 bam. And there's like Lake Superior is on the bathroom floor. At this point, I'm like, oh shit, this ain't looking good. Straight away, the band are coming out of different rooms, making reports. The electrical sockets are coming out the wall. Fryo, Molly, she's so chill. She was just straight in the shower. I was laughing. Her character is so funny, man. If anyone got to speak to her, big up Fryo. I'm speaking to Lee. Lee's like, I ain't staying there. So long story short, we just had to get out there, and Lee slapped a lot of cash down to get us in the Ibis to sort it out later. But straight away, I was in like a dispute. I was like a rabbit in the headlights then, thinking, oh God, what are we going to do here now? And everyone's saying, get the pictures. You got to get into a dispute with the Airbnb. So I'm texting messaging the host, and he's like, oh, I'm very sorry. I'll send the maintenance department now. Maintenance department, fucking talking shit. Maintenance department here. I said, get your ass over here. At this point, obviously, we'd already said, we're going to get going. So we're making reservations simultaneously while I was collecting evidence. This is life on the road, people, at this level. You know what I mean? You might think it's all like drugs and parties backstage. It ain't. It's Airbnb disputes. That's what we're talking about. So so we got this Ibis hotel booked. I'm taking these pictures to get in this dispute. He's sending his maintenance department over. I said, mate, I can't stay here on health and safety grounds. So there's, electricity and water don't tend to mix at the best of times. So we're bouncing and we're getting out of here. Then me being a bit of a flapper, I shut the door. And we're all out there. I shut the door and I leave the key inside the frigging flat. And I'm thinking, guy's gonna check us here for a locksmith. You know what I mean? Luckily, it didn't turn out like that. To be fair, because Airbnb just got straight onto it. They must have said to him like, "You ain't got a leg to stand on here." And we got the money back. To be fair, and then it was good though because we ended up in the Ibis. I suppose that also led to a pretty good night with the big SB because they were in the hotel next door. So after the Southampton gig, their crew and our crew got together. We had a few drinks and it was it was pretty good. But yeah, that was the start to what was a glamorous tour. Just going to see what's on here. Let me just share that. Open. Wow, that takes the piss. Literally sleeping on the job. Yeah, he was. God, you just said crack of dawn. Dawn. I mean, how many times have you heard that today? You must hear that all the time. The crack of dawn. Does it make you cringe, Dawn, when people say that? At least it gave you a story to tell, I guess. Skinny Beard Man, big up. And thank you for your support as well. This story is mad hilarious. Yeah, it wasn't at the time when I could see the soul seeping out of Lee's body. And you could see his head whirring around like a hamster wheel. What he's going to do here. I would have got me a head down in there if I'm honest, but is what it is. Okay, what have we got else? Just people enjoying that, yeah. Yeah. So who was at the actual? It was in there. Who was at Southampton and who was at Scarlet or Eva? Jackie, I know you weren't, obviously. Who was there? Dawn, I know you were there. Mark, obviously. Yeah. Oh, and 10 people in there now as well. Thanks very much. That's cool. No, I didn't expect that. Thanks for the love. Right, I've got some. I have got some questions from the group, from the Rat's Nest. If you ain't in the Rat's Nest yet, nice little community building there. I don't want to keep saying it, but I'm completely overwhelmed by the support that's coming. Just couldn't have imagined it. I'm going to try and fish these questions out. Okay, and I know some of these people actually contacted me and said they can't make it into the live stream, and that's what I was talking about before. It's come back to me now. People have actually submitted questions. Some couldn't be in there, so they've asked me to post it up on YouTube afterwards. And again, a lot of these people have come from the the a lot of these people have come from like the Skinner Brothers community as well, the Skinner Brothers family. If you're not in that group and you like the Skinner Brothers, which I think most people in here do, make sure you do join that. It's a significantly larger group by small 10,000 than ours. But we've had a lot of, all joking aside, I've had a lot of love from that group and a lot of support. And it was, aside from the good people in this group now, Jackie, etc., Jill Mathers, who kind of helped and prompted me to do this, said, you know, you'll get a lot of love on the live streams if you set it up and speak to people. So here I am. I hope you're getting some love from it. I hope you're enjoying it. Right, to the questions. So the first question I've got is from Denise. And Denise was one of the people that said she couldn't make it, but she'll watch it later. So Denise Hemnall, big up. Patrick, I was going to ask how to stop suggesting rap pages. Oh, I think she's taking a piss with this, but I was going to ask how to stop suggesting rap pages popping up on my FB feed since following you. Apart from yours, of course, they're not all handsome. Thank you. Yeah, I can't help with that one. There was a bit of a chat there with myself and Gareth Whitehouse. Big up, Gareth. Dawn, yeah, okay. What made you decide to go for the face covering? Well, I suppose when we started this project, I just always liked the idea of the anonymity, put my teeth in, that it can afford you. The crazy stuff that goes on and around bands sometimes, you know, you in this modern age, you can be sometimes, you know, if you're in full-time employment, be second guessing what's going to happen, etc., etc. So, you know, what people are going to say, not just yourself, but people around you are going to say. So I always liked that level of anonymity it provided. And when I was growing up, there was always some cool people like MF Doom that did it. And I always thought it's kind of a cool thing, that, because it's a bit of a leveler. The mask's kind of a bit of a leveler like that. It don't really matter what you look like. I mean, I'm ugly as sin, so it's even better for me. But, you know, if you were devastatingly good looking, then, you know, people aren't deterred by that either. So, yeah, I like the idea of what you can do with the mask, and just thought it looked kind of cool. And when I first said it to Lee and some of the others, I think they were like, "What? Why are you wearing a mask for?" I was like, above reasons. But then I think we put it on our first T-shirt, and it seemed to help the T-shirt sales because it was like a recognizable brand, I guess, I suppose. But yeah, so I put it on there, and that's why, really, Dawn. That's the main reasons. Okay. Oh, Denise, again, this was a serious question, I think. Who were your favourite bands, artists growing up? Yeah, I've said this a few times, but because I had like, you know, I had three older brothers, so there was always a lot of music around in my house, and like the sort of various things they were into. Like, you know, one was into, they might dispute this now, but as I recall it, one was like into heavy rock, one was into indie, one was kind of into dance. So a lot of that, I suppose, fed into what I was listening to when I was, you know, 9-10 years old. But when I got to my own teenage years, it was like the advent of MTV Europe as well. So I always say that because it was so influential, I think, for people of my generation, that whatever was coming down MTV Europe, in addition to things like Radio 1, you know, Steve Lamacq in the Evening Session, helped to shape your sort of musical taste. The first band that I was proper into was Green Day, actually, because I think the first gig, the first thing that I'd call a gig that I went to was at the Manchester Apollo, which is still my favourite venue. And it was the bootleg Beatles. I went with my mum and dad, but it had like the seating configuration for the Apollo. And I remember thinking, like, even then, I think, oh, this is pretty cool. I think when I was going to go to the gig with my mum and dad, I was like begrudgingly going. But then when I ended up turning up to it, I thought, this is a pretty cool thing. You know, you get swept up in that atmosphere and all, don't you? And it was only a few months later, I think, in my mind, that I went to what I'd classify as my first proper gig. It was September 1995, Green Day at the Manchester Apollo, and they were on the back of, well, Dookie had just been out, which is a massive album, obviously, but I think they were actually touring Insomniac, which was the album after. But that whole evening, like anyone that's had that sort of moment where it sort of bites you, I was like, this is insane, you know, and I said, I want to be doing something like this, and I want to be in a band, and, you know, be up there. That'd be cool. So yeah, Green Day was the first one I was into, but obviously it was that Britpop era, so, you know, Oasis, Cast, all of that, and then, like everyone that gets into music, you start going backwards, don't you, and listening to the bands that inspired those bands. So that's what I'd say for that. I'm just going to keep it going to make sure I get these questions in, because I was surprised there was quite a few questions. Anastasia asked, what music do you like to listen to? What's some of your favourite bands? Yeah, well, like I say, apart from the ones I just covered there, I would say, I don't know if it's kind of obvious to say, but a lot of the big Manchester bands, obviously the Stone Roses, the Smiths. But I like anything that's quite. I like a wide range of music, and I like a wide range of genres. You know, like most people who are in bands, there's not many things that I would turn my nose up to without giving it a try first. But I always err on stuff that's kind of big choruses, you know, and melodic, and it's easily accessible. And that's the sort of thing that I try with Lee. You know, we're kind of push and pull a little bit on the stuff we write, but I try and go for myself. So, you know, like Weezer, band The Hold Steady. Don't know if anyone knows them. They've got, like, you know, just big rock moments, good choruses, and I like that. But I also like clever lyrics, and that's why I've always liked the work of Morrissey. I like Shane MacGowan. You know, people that can really put pen to paper in a devastating way. I'm always there for that. I'm just going to try and read some of these comments. Dawn, apologies if I miss anything, by the way. Jackie, my first gig was Motorhead. That's cool. I seen Motorhead, or Lemmy at least. Yeah, it was must have been Motorhead at Glastonbury. Was it 2015 or 2017? Can't remember how long after that Lemmy passed away. But will you be at the ballroom with Skinner Brothers for round 2? It needs to happen. Yeah. No, I've not heard anything about that. And to be totally honest, it's not something I'll be looking into. It was an insane opportunity that they gave us, and you know, without that opportunity, I wouldn't be sitting there doing this live stream now. But you know, it's probably only right they give someone else an opportunity now, and you don't want to see the same support bands all the time. I guess it's good to have a link with someone that's much bigger than you like that. I know some bands do support bands. If you went back to 1992, 93, and Oasis started supporting Verve. Now that relationship's been going 30 odd years, hasn't it? And Richard Ashcroft's still supporting Oasis now. So I suppose it works for some people. And if we were ever asked to do anything like that, obviously we won't even think about it, you take it. But if I was in Zach's shoes and the SB shoes, you want to make these things unique, I guess. That'd be my take on it. You know, fans are traveling worldwide for Skinner Brothers, and it's like, you know, you want to probably give them a unique show. So that'd be my take on that. If we're asked to do anything, we'd do it. But if the boot was on the other foot, I'd probably look around, giving someone else a chance. What else have we got then? I agree. Love to see Handsome at the Ballroom Fair. Thank you. Thanks very much, Jackie. Jack, appreciate you taking the time to chat with us at Scala. Yeah, I'm a people's person at heart, so I'll always chat to people. And I love it. It's listening to people's experiences and how they got to the gig, and you know, what they're doing in the run up to it. Going to gigs for me is the best thing you can do. I'm a pretty sociable guy. It doesn't take much to get me out and drinking and chatting with people, and going out to any sort of social activity. I'm not a hermit. I'm probably a bit of an extrovert. But my favourite thing in the world to do since September 1995 is to go to gigs. So I just love everything about it. I love the build up to it. I love speaking to people. I can't speak to enough people when I'm there, and that's why, I don't know if you saw me, but I got out in the crowd, and I was having a bop to the Cheap Thrills as well. And then obviously, very kindly, we were brought up on stage with the whole crew for the Skinner Brothers as well. That was insane as well. Jackie, how you doing, Jackie? Mine was Duran Duran. Yeah, don't mind Duran Duran. Love a bit of Duran Duran. I agree. Love to see. So I've gone back a bit there now. Britpop era was defo when I grew up. 90s were top notch. My first gig was the Amazing Darts, 1978 in Sheffield. I'm not old. You know what, Jack? I confess I don't know the Amazing Darts, but I'll make a mental note of that. I'll check them out. Unless you're saying it was just a darts tournament, but I'm reading it as a band. I was 5 then, Jack. Okay, cool. Right, back to the questions. Katie Henderson, do you always? Oh, right, yeah. That's because the picture I posted when I put this out was me with some, what would you call them? Water birds, swans, ducks flocking around me. And Katie says, do you always have all the birds flocking around you? No, I don't. Fucking, I'm a bird repellent. Okay, Jackie. I actually thought the other day. Oh, how did you come up with the name Handsome Rat? Well, being a bird repellent, I'm definitely not handsome. But I don't know. I don't know. A few people have asked me this. It's a legitimate question, and thanks for it. But like a lot of these ideas, it just came from the subconscious. I don't know. It's nothing I thought of before. What actually happened when we went to put some music on as Handsome Rat? So me and Lee got like, I always say this, we've got like 300 demos probably. And that ranges from, full songs to 30, 40-second clips of stuff we're going to do. And around the time we started uploading for Handsome Rat, I just basically said to Lee, I said, this streaming and all that, we should start putting some of the tunes out, etc., etc. And what actually happened was we had a 30-second clip of like a demo, and it was very heavily influenced by like the band I talked about before, the Hold Steady. They had a big album, The Girls and Boys in America. I absolutely love that album, and I was trying to write a song with Lee that was sort of in the vein of that album, because it was. I'm going back to 2007, 2007-ish. So that was knocking around that long. So fast forward to, I think it was 2019, 2020, before COVID. I said, all this streaming, all this SoundClouding, as I said before, not a technophobe, but we had no reason to sort of embrace that before. I was like, let's get a track up on that SoundCloud. So we dug through a few things, and Lee pulled out this 30-second demo. And I said, yes, let's stick that on. We'll stick it on just to see how it all works and what happens. And he ended up getting this 30-second demo. And I said, no, I know it's a 30-second demo, but loop it round twice and put like a bit of guitar on it. And it's the tune that's Great Expectations now. It's only like 1:20. It was never meant to be like a song like that. It was supposed to be like a demo for like a song that was probably going to be like 3 or 4 minutes in my head. But what I actually did was we made a profile, and I just said, it was just on the spot. I just thought, what am I going to call this? And I just called it Handsome Rat. Don't know why. And then what happened was I was trying to figure out how SoundCloud works, posted this thing up. I thought no one's ever going to hear this. And not knowing how it works properly, I started listening to things on SoundCloud, and one was like, I did know the name, but it's escaped me now, so apologies. But it's like the Unheard Indie Podcast or something. It's a pretty decent podcast. It's still going, I'm sure it is. The guy puts out, it's called Rich, and he puts out like an episode a week, or he certainly was doing. But at the time, I didn't notice. I just saw this thing, clicked on it, listened to it, and there was a track on there that I really liked. I thought, oh, right, okay. And I commented, oh, that track by whatever band it was, brilliant. And in turn, he sort of seen our profile, went back and said, oh, that track that you've put on Great Expectations is great. I'm going to put it on the next episode. I was like, oh, shit, that wasn't really my intention, but I was going to have to take that now. So, yeah, and that's a very long-winded way of asking with a little bit of history mixed in as well. But that's Handsome Rat was just from the subconscious on a whim, because I had to fill something in. So it must have been in there for something, and I must have been thinking of something, but I guess that's how the subconscious works. But it ain't about me, I can tell you that much. What else have we got? Oh yeah, Gareth. Big up Gareth. What's your favourite and least favourite thing about being in a band? The favourite things, it's just the experiences you get out of it. I think I put a post on a few months ago, which is very sincere, which was that you can make some friends in music, that can be with you for life. And I don't just mean going to, I'm speaking specifically about Gareth's question here. I've met people through being in bands and bands that I was friends with that I wouldn't have met unless it was through the music scene. Lee and I went to school together, so unfortunately I've been stuck with him ever since then. But some of the guys and girls that I know around the Manchester and Northwest scene, in that 25 years, have been my friends ever since. And that camaraderie that you get with some of them, it's lifelong friendships, really. So it's the experiences it gives you. It's those nights that we talked about before. It's the experiences of getting up on a stage, and you wouldn't have it otherwise without being in a band. You can be a gig goer, like a lot of you guys are. And I don't know if some of you were in bands or not. Of course you can. But when you're in the band and you've got that extra creativity and it's all happening, yeah, it's just brilliant like that. What's my least favourite thing? I don't know really. I suppose the flip side of that is there's quite a lot of dicks as well. A lot of bands you run into, some of them can be a bit dickish. I'm not running into too many of them. But yeah, some of them, I suppose one of the things about being in a band, especially if you're young, I'd say, is that what helps you succeed? What helps you succeed in a band, especially when you're young, is that kind of siege mentality. So a lot of bands have got the siege mentality. It's like us against the world, and because of that, because no one ever backs you if you're in a band, no one's ever going to believe in you. It's only when the snowball starts to move down the hill that you get bigger and bigger. But no one's going to back you at the start. No one cares. So I think it's a byproduct of backing yourself and that siege mentality that a lot of bands go in like, and it can come across as arrogance with other bands backstage and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd say some dicks really. In addition to what I said before, which is the cost of it. Some of it now is astronomical. So if you're young, if you're 4 18-year-old boys and girls, 4 or 5 18-year-old, you're up against it, and it's really dying in that respect. Just have to see where that goes. And I think the last question on here, was Jill herself, and thank you again, Jill, when you see this. For everything, Jill's over in Seattle. She said it was like 6 a.m. when this started. So apologies if you are there, Jill. I've not seen, but if you are watching this again, thank you for all the help on setting this up. And again to everyone, Jackie, everyone that's suggested setting this up, and Bandcamp, because we just set Bandcamp up. Really, there was a Bandcamp profile, but we haven't put anything on it. But we have done now. Loads of these have supported us on that. And again, 3 weeks ago, if I'd gone to Lee and say, we're going to have a Bandcamp and we've got people going to be supporting us on there, we've been like, can't believe it. And again, it's all thanks to the support of the Skinner Brothers, so thank you. And the Skinner Brothers family, let me say that. Sorry, Jill's question was, when was the first show you ever performed as the band Handsome Rat? So yeah, I think I touched on it before. It was basically May 2023, and it was in Yorkshire. It was at a venue called the Little Un, the Little Un. And there was a guy there, I don't even think he's doing it now, but he was a guy, what I would describe as music heads had taken over this venue on, again, a pretty rough area, to be honest. And they were trying to do a real community-driven project with it to give people somewhere to go. And a local guy there who was local to the pub was putting on bands, and obviously he put the Dennerbys on, and I think I was probably reaching out to him at the time, looking for gigs. I'm not sure, can't remember. Because sometimes you're reaching out for stuff, sometimes things come into you. But yeah, we got on that bill with the Dennerbys, and yeah, wasn't many people there, to be honest. Dennerbys are absolutely flying now, doing really well. But that was the first gig we did as Handsome Rat. But as I say earlier, if you go to handsomerat.com, sell. Go to handsomerat.com on the gigography, you can see all that. Okay, Jesus, I can't believe I've been rabbiting on for 40 minutes. Well, thereabouts with the technical issues. So let me just see. I've not missed anything else. I am struggling a little bit with the touchscreen. Touchscreen, get me? Fair enough. Sometimes inspiration takes you out of the... okay, yeah. I think Jill is probably still asleep. 2 p.m. Yeah, that's what she said there. Have you ever thought of delving into the archives and putting a modern twist on an old tune? Yeah, well, that's a good question. Yeah, thanks for that, Mark. Yeah, we have done that because of those tunes that are available. They're a massive mix. So in age, although a lot of have been recorded recently, and Kian, obviously, a lot of you know Kian. Kian has been at the helm for a lot of the production duties, put his twist on it. A lot of the demos of those tunes are old. So let me think of a few examples. Concourse Cowboys. I mean, we wrote that in 2004. I think we released it in 2024. We recorded it with Kian. What else have we had out? I've told you about the Great Expectations one before. You and All Your Dreams, that was from about 2004. Lee produced that. Lee produced like the 2022 version of it. Yeah, big up Kian. What else have we had out? The Tomb. So like the flip side of that, Tomb of Pope Julius II. That was like again a 40-second voice note. When you write these tunes, you have these demos. They've always got like a code name or something. And the Tomb of Pope Julius II was just a voice note called Burning Bright, and it was just Lee singing it, and it sounded like the chorus of it does really. But then again, take it to Kian, and we did a modern retelling of it. No, I tell you what, The voice note for Burning Bright was only from about 2022. Lee was in a bit of a purple patch of sending me voice notes every day. So about 2022, he sent that. And I think we recorded it with Kian in 2024. Yeah, that'll be about right. So some of them are modern like that. In and Out of Love, we only wrote that in 2023 and recorded it in 2023. So to answer the question, Mark, yeah, they're absolutely a mix. Some are really old. So we have delved into the archives, and some are brand new. And I suppose that's a heartening thing, really, that a lot of them are brand new, because it's like, oh well, the well hasn't dried up. We're still writing, and still getting those voice notes through now. Might be a good thing to do if I put some of them maybe on the Bandcamp, and people can have a listen there, or I'll have a think about that. Maybe the SoundCloud as well. We do have a SoundCloud, but I need to tidy that. I need to tidy up all the real estate, baby, the cyber real estate. What are we missing? Big okay. I love Concourse Cowboys. Thank you, Dawn. Me too. Stuck in my brain. Tune. Oh yeah, cracking tune. Thank you very much. I didn't really come on here with a script, to be honest with you. I knew I had some questions to answer. And there was probably one or two things in my head I wanted to say. I definitely wanted to get those thank yous out. And again, I thank you all for the support. It's been fun sending this hostage video. If you want me to do it again, I'll just get in contact. Tell me if you liked it, and I can set it up again. What I'll try and do is a bit more of an interesting background. Make it a bit more showbiz. See what I can do with that. But in the meantime, I think that's it. So whatever you're getting up to for the rest of the day, take care out there. Much love. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. And I'll see you again somewhere down the line, baby. See you later.